Hi everyone, this is Name, and in this YouTube video, I wanted to talk about a group of senior school leaders who are launching a legal challenge against Ofsted. The group, Fair Judgment, is looking to hold the Inspectorate to account for ending careers and causing a mental health crisis. The collective legal challenge is in response to the death of a Berkshire primary head teacher, Ruth Perry, who took her own life in January while awaiting an inspection report that downgraded her school from outstanding to inadequate. The school leader heading Fair Judgment described the challenge as a response to the many careers Ofsted have ended and the fear and stress they have caused. Former Ofsted Inspector John Bald is fronting a crowdfunding page for the group, which is hoping to raise money through teacher donations of £1 each. The group is collecting evidence about unfair judgments and their devastating impact, and is aiming to argue that the whole scrutiny system is flawed and the Inspectorate is not sufficiently transparent in providing feedback. Unfortunately, teachers' accounts of Ofsted inspections show a different side to the system. A teacher at a secondary school in Surrey tells of how an inspector interrupted her lesson to ask her, in front of her students, to point out the most disadvantaged children. She refused, but to her shock, was told by the inspector that of the 10 teachers asked this same question, she was the only one who knew. The horrifying accounts of unprofessional behavior are not limited to this one case. In the past 3 weeks, more than 3,000 teachers have posted their own inspection horror stories on a social media spreadsheet. Many of those responses have come from heads who experienced the same despair that Ruth Perry felt before her passing. Yogi Amin, national head of public law at the legal firm Rowan Mitchell and head of the legal challenge against Ofsted, points out that many school leaders have felt too helpless to complain about an unfair inspection report, as no school with a tight budget can really afford to challenge a verdict. An Ofsted spokesperson did comment, asserting that they do not tolerate poor behavior from inspectors, and the grading inadequate for safeguarding reasons is one only due to serious concerns, such as failure to complete background checks on staff or not having a rigid system to spot signs of abuse. Whether this is sufficient or not is up to each of us to decide, but it is true that the legal challenge headed by Fair Judgment is something that we all should pay attention to. In the case that it reaches its fundraising goals, we will be able to see if this is a first step towards holding inspectors and Ofsted accountable for the way they influence the lives of so many teachers, heads, and students all across the UK. Finally, if you or anyone you know is in need of emotional support, then please reach out. In the UK and Ireland, Samaritans can be contacted on free phone 100 and 16123 or email joe@samaritans.org or joe@samaritans. In the US, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is at 988 or chat for support. You can also text HOME to 741,741 to connect with a crisis text line counselor. In Australia, the Crisis Support Service Lifeline is 13 11 14. Other international helplines can be found at Befrienders. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to